Hello folks, here's what I have for you today. I'll talk about how we turned $946,000 RV and boat storage facility value into $1.7 million in under 10 months. On this day 3 years ago, I committed to close RV and boat storage facility at 3100 Sheridan Road in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I know the purchase price number seems a little odd. At the last minute, we decided to buy a boom lift and it included a purchase contract. So it was 35,000 square feet building on 8.7 acre site. Now let's talk about pros of this deal. First, there was much room to grow. It has 260 spots and it was only 60% occupied. It was a good location. The property was next to Lake Michigan, Kenosha, and the view was really phenomenal. Given the proximity to Chicago, I believe that it will likely to become a resort or some sort of residential development in, let's say, 10 to 20 years. And it was the really largest property next to the water from there to Chicago. Next was outside storage. The property covered 8.7 acres and zoning allowed outside storage, which is rare. It had low occupancy with only 1/3 of lot being in use, but it had great potential for expansion. There was a high demand for outside storage, including RV parks and possibly even truck trailer storage. Next, let's talk about growing market. Back in 2021, there was a big hype around RVs and travel, with RVs traveling growing like a wildfire. People usually buy RVs for a long haul, keeping them 10 to 20 years, so it really seems like it's really stable and growing market. Now hear me out about big idea. Let me remind you, this was still during the COVID hysteria and low interest rates, like 4%, 5-year terms, that's how low. RV parks and storages became really popular. So what we did, we niched down to build a list of storage facilities with large parking lots and started calling them to buy. At that time, demand for parking seemed to grow and managing lots seemed to be really easy. And most municipalities ban parking of RVs in neighborhoods, so RVs need a place to park, especially in the dense areas. This seemed like created a strong market with limited supply. And unlike other real estate investments, parking lots have low OPEX. They need no utilities, no structures, so they're low maintenance. So the plan was to buy as many as possible of these facilities, then we rinse and repeat by doing the following: renovate lightly, remove outside management, reduce OPEX, boost revenue with marketing automation. Now let's talk about the lift, which is AKA value add. The plan really worked about 75%. Let me go through it. Day one we closed, we hired a property manager full-time on site. For the context, the seller was self-managing this property, so we had to put someone in place right away. Next, we installed storage system to transfer all payments online. Afterwards, we did automatic gates, new asphalt next to the building, and security cameras, lights, tuck pointing, and painting. After that, we moved on improving the parking lot. We brought probably close to 100 tons of gravel and placed numbers near the fence to assign parking spots for the RVs. We aim to systemize it. Everyone should park in dedicated space. We should know who is up to date on payments. Collection should be automated. Everything must be neat and clean. Now let's talk about cons of this deal. First, we plan to assign separate areas in the building for the cars and boats. However, these areas weren't marked. To add these markings, we would need to grind, buff, and seal the floors, which probably would cost about $150,000. This expense was not economically feasible. Next, our outdoor area was unpaved. It was complicating marketing process. This pretty much led to constant struggle. We often had to remind customers to park in their own spots. After, for example, long weekend or parties, some parked their RVs anywhere. This habit sometimes sparked disputes. We often had to argue over who scratched the mirror or the fender. This was really our main issue. This was quite dramatic. Another problem was, surprisingly, we didn't have enough demand on Google and Facebook paid ads. Next challenge was seasonality. About 40% of car collectors and 20% of RV owners would take their vehicles in the spring, and revenue pretty much dropped almost 30% during the summer months. And the last challenge was revenue management. That was really difficult. You see, we learned that one of the most effective ways to improve the revenue is to price these same as airlines. If you have many 10x20s, for example, you price them at lowest introductory rate, let's say $9.99. And if this is your last spot, for example, you price it at max, let's say $120. And you review supply and demand weekly and you price it all the time. Oh boy, we were wrong on this facility. You see, when airfare costs $300, customers rarely cancel to repurchase that for $250 if the price drops. This really does not work for RV owners. Every price change made RV tenants unhappy. Unlike self-storage customers, they had wheels. So they would come and move pretty much in 10 minutes. They would switch easy if they found a sale across the street or had parking disputes with neighbors. Like I told you, it was constant battle and quite dramatic. Now let's talk about disposition. All in behold, given these challenges, we realized we could not automate this facility to operate remotely. We would need full-time person on site, and even 40 hours a week was not enough to cover demand. So we decided to pivot and put this property in the market after holding less than 1 year. Our broker recommended listing it at $1.65 million, but we had multiple offers and sold for $1.7 million. Now, during those 10 months, we managed to increase the rents to over $13,000 a month. We improved the property, we made it cleaner, safer, and more welcoming. We also added many automations. The investor who bought this facility from us made a brilliant move. He capitalized on everything what facility had. They brought portable units and added a lot of self-storage space, which made easy to automate, and I'm sure he did really well with it. And finally, let's talk about takeaways. So after this deal, I've decided not to buy more RV facilities unless they generate over $50,000 a month. This really ensures that we can cover operating costs for on-site staff. You see, facilities generating $10,000 to $20,000, and $20,000 is probably the magic number, where facilities struggle to break even on operating costs. Another takeaway that RV or boat storage is very different from self-storage. You need an on-site manager who is also a community manager. It's way more hands-on compared to self-storage. The third takeaway, that seasonality in RV and boat storage can drop your revenue by 30% or more in off-season. And the last takeaway, don't bank on shiny Disneyland investment lasting long-term. Fundamentals revert to their normal state over time. In this case, RV sales went back to normal after pandemic highs, and the same was true for the demand for the parking lots. So that's the episode. If you like what you see, please subscribe. If you really like it, please share this episode with someone who you know, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, guys.